Welcome, everybody, life insurance agents, financial advisors. If you're doing marketing on LinkedIn, then you're going to want to know the impact of your SSI score, social selling index score on LinkedIn. And if you are aware of what that is, great. We're going to stick around and show you how you can improve that score. If not, you're going to want to stick around and understand how it affects your impact to create leads and appointments that turn into sales. So stick around for this week's episode. Rob Souza with Advisor Marketing Hub. We are live now and sharing with you our best research ideas on how to improve your SSI or social selling index score. The first question I get from most financial advisors is, what the heck is an SSI score? So lean in. You may have to squint your eyes a bit, but when you really break it down, it is the ability uh, to achieve enough engagement in LinkedIn where LinkedIn wants to promote you, your content, your comments, and your engagement and your exposure on LinkedIn based on the parameters that we're going to go over today. What is it? What are the benefits? Well, it helps you establish your professional brand. Why? Because it creates more exposure for you. And it's going to help you find the right people because it's going to help you narrow in your focus to attract the right audience. It doesn't matter how big your audience is. What matters is the quality of your audience. Are they your unique niche target market? If you can match content to a specific niche audience, then your content is going to be deemed more appropriate, more relevant, and it's going to be have more exposure because LinkedIn is matching, is saying that your content matches your market. And so they're going to give you much more impressions, and that will encourage more engagement. So now engage with insights, and the SSI score will allow you to take a look at your demographics. Who are you attracting? Who are looking at your posts? And are they the right audience? If you're attracting other financial advisors and life insurance agents to engage in your brand, obviously that's not going to help you grow your business. And it's actually going to hurt your SSI score. If you're a VA, and we have an entire firm of VAs around the world, mostly in the Philippines. And if you only attract audiences of other VAs, that's not going to help you promote your specific services that you offer. And finally, building relationships. You want to build relationships with the right people. And you only can do that if you match the right content with the right audience. And if you connect with, talk about building relationships, you want to build relationships with those who have the most relationships, a center of influence. We all know it as an influencer. So you really want to be able to seek out a top 10, top 20 influencers that have a similar audience to your target market or niche audience, and make sure that you're connecting with those people and you are serving up comments and content that matches exactly what that target audience is looking for. All right, so we're going to now, obviously, for financial advisors, a strong SSI score, social selling index. We talked about already, attracts new clients, fosters trust and credibility. And that's probably the one I want to highlight here. Trust and credibility, because people will come to you because they trust that you are the most credible or one of the most credible providers of education and information in regards to whatever solution you solve for your specific audience. Helps you expand your network. Super important, because the more you expand your network, the more opportunity you have to connect with leads that are in your audience and then position you as a thought leader. And that's kind of the same as fostering trust and credibility. You have to be engaged enough in the platform to be seen frequently and to be seen as a thought leader. We talked about this last week, and I promised to follow up last week's Digital Advisor Weekly with this topic, which is the SSI score to expand your reach. And what you want, it's a multifaceted approach where you have to be all in. If LinkedIn is where you're networking, if that's where you are reaching out and trying to create leads that can turn into appointments, then you've got to position yourself as a thought leader. How do you do that? It's not just your post. Most people think it's their post, but if you post at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, how many of your people, your target audience, are actually on LinkedIn at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? They may only be on at 10 a.m. They may only be on at 10 p.m. So it's super important that not only are you posting, but you're posting as frequently as possible. Don't be afraid to repeat content on a regular basis, recycle content on a regular basis so that you can be posting on a 2, 3, 4 times a day with the same content that you've already used, because most people miss your original post. So why not recycle it, post it again at a different time, and you're going to reach more people. But that's not just it. Posts are the least effective way to reach your audience and position yourself as a thought leader. First of all, don't continue to regurgitate content that other advisors, like, what is a annuity, what is a permanent life insurance contract. There's a hundred hundreds of thousands of posts and articles online that explain that, and so you're just regurgitating information that other people have also posted. You need to give your opinion, and you need to give unique solutions that they haven't heard anywhere else, which positions you as a thought leader. And finally, increase your visibility for lead generation. We talked about that. You've got to position yourself as a thought leader, building trust and credibility. And the two additional ways to do that is you must be posting articles, contribute to conversations, and make sure that you're commenting on similar content, especially from uh, influencers who have a similar audience, and engaging with their audience by adding additional ideas to the original post. So compliment them, highlight the value of the content they posted, but then add in one additional idea to take it a step further, which again positions you as a thought leader. If you don't have time and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be on LinkedIn doing all of this, then I encourage you to automate the process. I talked about that last week. You can go back and click on the video. You can use AI software like Evie.ai and create a persona with all of your personal details, tone, humor, your personal story, all the details about you to create very hyper personalized automated responses. But you do, if you don't want to actually be on LinkedIn, click, 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 you want to hire a VA that can use your persona, personalized persona, granular detailing who you are until it creates comments and posts and conversations that 100% represent your personality, tone, and perspective. And you can do that through a tool like Evie AI. And I encourage you to take a look at that if that's something, if you don't personally want to be on keeping up with these conversations and contributing, because Evie AI can also help you create additional LinkedIn articles where you can give, if you've ever logged in and seen somebody at the top of your feed, it says, would you like to contribute to this subject? And yes, you want to take every single one of those opportunities to say, yes, I'll contribute to this conversation, because you got to be a thought leader. And if you're not contributing to the subject matters that are being posted on your LinkedIn feed, or somebody else is posting and they're inviting you to be a guest contributor to that piece of content, you'd be crazy to turn it down. And if you have some automation like Evie.ai and a VA, they can do that for you. And it will represent you in an authentic way, and you don't have to worry about it. And it's penny on the dollars in comparison to the price per hour for your personal time as a financial advisor or life insurance agent. All right, we got to move on. Okay. So, how do you find your LinkedIn SSI score? You simply log into your LinkedIn account, and in your web browser, once you're logged in, go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI and view your SSI score so that you can better understand how you position, how LinkedIn's prioritizing your content. And trust me, I, I'm as new to this as you are. I'm researching new ideas and strategies every single week from the coaches that I follow. And I didn't know what SSI was as of 6 months ago. So you're learning with me. As I learn, I turn around and share it with you so that I can save you time from having to do the research on this stuff. So this is what your social selling index score looks like inside your LinkedIn account. And you can see in this particular sample, that this is a 54 out of 100 social selling index score, and it's based on different components. And you want to get up into this is top 17%. You want to get it up into the top 5%, and in an ideal world, into the top 1% of SSI. And if you do, you're going to receive priority engagement from LinkedIn. They are going to promote your content more than the rest of the 99% of your competition. Okay, so let's go through that score and what's affected. Industry SSI rank top percentage. I just explained this. It's an indication of your authority in your particular topic. So okay, network shows your rank compared to, yeah, so compares your rank in comparison to your connections, because that's why I said make sure that you follow 10 to 20 influencers in your industry with your perspective and their audience, and that will increase your network SSI rank, because the people that you're connected with if they are also in a top 5 or top 1%, then it's going to increase your personal SSI score. Okay, so current social selling index displays your overall SSI score, which measures your effectiveness in social selling on LinkedIn. So the idea here is that, are people engaging with your content? Are they commenting? Are they liking your posts? Are you placing comments on other people's posts, and then are they replying to you or liking or what you have to say? And all of that is measured by the social selling index for your effectiveness on LinkedIn to create engagement. Of course, LinkedIn wants to reward those who are building the LinkedIn brand and engaging people to stay on LinkedIn, continuing conversations, and trying to keep people's attention on LinkedIn. And if you're part of that, they're going to reward you. That's what the SSI score is about. So 4 components of the SSI: establish a professional brand score. That's important. That's the trust that I talked about earlier, making you a trusted name and content creator within your space. Niching down to a specific audience makes it easier with less competition to be able to dominate that. And then finding the right people score that you're connected with, engage with insights, and build relationships. So all of that is measured here. You can click on these question marks, and LinkedIn will give you suggestions on how you can improve each of these scores to increase your SSI score. Okay, comparative data. We talked about this. Going through your connections and comparing it to their ranking, and then your associations. What does it say? Iron sharpens iron. Who you hang out with determines who you are. It's important that you're connected to influential people if you want to be influential. And then people in your network with average SSI shows the average SSI score of your connections. So again, quality over quantity. Find people who are well respected in your industry with a similar audience. Okay. And if your audience happens to be like business owners, well, make sure you're connected with one of the best business owner coaches on LinkedIn who has lots of business owners. And if that's your industry, then that's who you want to connect with. And you can check that out by clicking on their profile and taking a look at the number of followers they have and the amount of the posting and comments, likes, and engagement. That's how you're going to create your top 10 influencers and making sure that you engage with them on a daily basis. So we talked about establishing a professional brand. You really need to update your LinkedIn profile. The number one thing I can say for all financial advisors and life insurance agents is don't put the 3-digit acronyms behind your name. I know that you sacrificed a lot to get there, but everybody who's not in our industry has absolutely no idea what that means. If you're going to create a headline in LinkedIn, make sure that it communicates who you serve and the problem you solve. And that's what matters to others. And make sure that that way you're establishing a more professional brand. Finding the right people. I just, in your headline, determine who you serve, engaging with insights, making sure you're checking your weekly analytics to see who's commenting, liking, and sharing and engaging with your comments, your posts, your articles, because that's important. Because if you're going the wrong direction to the wrong crowd, you got to change your content. And then building relationships. And they do assess your ability to connect with influential people. So make sure, again, top 10 list of influencers for your particular audience. All right. So, how do we improve it? We talked about establishing a professional brand. And you can ask yourself, is my LinkedIn profile 100% optimized or complete? If you need help with this, there are plenty of AI tools that can help, or you can reach out to us. You can go to schedulewithrob.com, 15-minute phone call, and I can help you optimize your profile. Do I have a professional looking profile photo? Am I regularly publishing I talked about this earlier, relevant articles and relevant posts, but the articles are more important than the actual posts. Which most people don't realize. So super important to automate that process if you possibly can. Okay, find the right people. Talked about this. The way that you do that is you're going to look through your connections and you're looking for those who have the biggest audience, followers, the most amount of followers, and the most amount of likes and comments on the posts. Because you can go to somebody's profile, click on activity, and on their activity, scroll down. You're looking for the highest number of comments and posts. Somebody could have 10,000 followers, but if nobody's liking or commenting on their content, then they're not an influencer. Find an influencer who's getting the most amount of engagement possible and put them on your top 10 list. I know I'm rushing through here and I've, in fact, overlooked most of my comments. So here in just a moment, I'll jump back to comments and make sure I answer questions. So thank you for all of you who've joined us and your reactions. Just trying to squeeze all this in under 30 minutes. But number 3, engage with insights. You are all financial advisors. You all understand the value of analyzing the numbers. That data is king. And if you're an expert at analyzing numbers, and coming up with proposed plans because you've analyzed the numbers better than any other financial advisor in order to come up with a recommendation that is better than any other advisor, well, then you should be the best at analyzing your own analytics on your own social media and pivoting and making adjustments every single week until you've increased your SSI score to it took me 60 days to get my SSI score from 60 out of 100 to 99 out of 100. It's possible, but I had to look at the analytics every single week. I had to look at the analytics to determine what adjustments I needed to make to continue to increase my reach and my authority and my SSI score. 4, build relationships. We already talked about this. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but make sure, again, this is why automating the commenting process is so important. And again, if you can't be on LinkedIn on a daily basis for an hour, then hire a VA. Most VAs in the countries that we work with, um, a $8 to $10 an hour salary for someone in the Philippines, India, Pakistan, Dominican Republic. Uh, that is a super competitive salary for them in comparison to the translation of compensation for hiring somebody here in the US. They could spend an hour a day for you going through and making sure they comment on every one of your top 10 influencers. And that will help you build relationships because people are going to get notifications. Their entire audience is going to get notifications from you that you commented on their content. All right. So we're coming to the end of the hour. Before I get to common questions, I'm actually going to answer questions here through the chat here. Okay. So yes, encourage. That's the most important part. Jackie's saying it encourages engagement. Sheila saying the importance of monitoring the score on a regular basis. Yeah, Evie AI Marie here on Facebook is saying the value of Evie AI. It's transformative. Best tool I've ever used to buy back an hour a day, 5 hours a week of my time for like $18 a month. Yes, clients are more likely to trust and engage advisors. Yes, who are recognized as thought leaders, which means you need to be posting articles. So, Judy, absolutely right. Very good. Um, yeah. So, how do you know? How do we know if they are an influencer or thought leader in the industry? Hopefully, I answered that question earlier. And that's by checking their activity, how many followers, and then check their posts and see how often are they posting, how many likes, how many comments. So that was from Marie on LinkedIn. Okay, so all right, I think I got most of the highlighted comments and questions. Let's jump in and we're going to wrap up with the most common mistakes that actually decrease or lower your SSI score. So this is important for you to take into consideration when you're looking at your engagement for LinkedIn. So incomplete profile. There's nothing more valuable that you could invest into than hiring a professional to help you optimize your profile for the target audience that you serve and the problem you solve for them. If that's not crystal clear, as my mentor Don Miller says, confuse people and you'll lose people. You've got to make it so obvious that even when you comment, it will say your name, who you serve, and the problem you solve. And if it's not that clear, you may want to reevaluate your LinkedIn profile. If you need help with that, again, www.schedulewithrob.com. I'd be happy to spend 15 minutes and do a quick evaluation of your profile and give you top 10 things you could do to optimize your profile. Complimentary. Lack of engagement, failing to regularly engage with your network. If you're not commenting on your network, then LinkedIn sees you as a one-way contributor and they will lower your score because all you do is post and you never contribute to other people. And that's just kind of selfish. Irrelevant content. If you're putting up content, especially most of us advisors who have gotten addicted to in the past syndicated content. So if you're getting content from, I hate to mention names, Broadridge or some of the other syndicated content platforms, Snappy Kraken, The reality is, if you're posting content that is being recycled, even if AI is rewriting that content and you're posting the same content as 100,000 other people, you're actually going to lower your SSI score because it's not unique, it's not relevant, and it doesn't have your own unique personal perspective with your own unique solution. If it's the same solution 100,000 other people are offering on LinkedIn, you're not relevant. Okay, so make sure you're engaging, commenting, liking, and sharing. Don't be one way. Make sure it's relevant content. And then ignoring search filters. And what we mean by that is if you're not presenting solutions and content to the right target audience because you're ignoring the search filters and you're blasting it out to everybody, including those who are not connected, who are connected in your network, but who aren't your target audience, then it's going to be considered irrelevant content that is ignoring search filters to serve that content and solution and ideas up to the right audience. And then neglecting connections, you got to make sure if you're not engaging with your regular connections on a regular basis, then LinkedIn again sees you as a one-way contributor and they're going to lower your score, which means they're going to show your posts. Literally, they will reduce the exposure of what you're posting on LinkedIn will be reduced by as much as like 85 to 90% if they see you not doing these other things. And so your impressions, the number of times your post is served up in somebody's feed, can go down, 80 to 90% of somebody who has a strong SSI score. So if you're not getting comments or likes on your posts, you're wasting your time. If most of your posts get 0 comments, 0 likes, or the only likes or comments you get are from your colleagues or employees, then you've got to work on your SSI score and your engagement. And if you don't want to be on LinkedIn, again, automate, use a VA. And then last thing, spammy behavior. Don't be on LinkedIn and the only thing you're commenting and the only messages you're sending is some automation asking for a connection. And then the very next message you send to people is, here's all the reasons why you should schedule an appointment with me. And here's all the things I can do to help you. That's a one-way snake oil salesman that, quite frankly, LinkedIn is trying to eliminate from their platform. So they are significantly reducing your comments, your exposure, your messages because of the people who are on LinkedIn using spammy behavior. You must, just like in the real world, build a relationship first, and relationships are built on equal contribution, back and forth. You can't meet a girl for the first time and at the end of the date ask her to marry you. That's crazy. Why is it crazy? Or even going to a city commerce meeting people for the first time, exchanging business cards, and then saying, hey, let's get together so I can tell you all about the service I provide. It's disingenuous. It shows a lack of interest, genuine interest in the other person. And so it needs to be equal reciprocity. You've got to build relationships online. And when you do, it is absolutely transformative. Back when I was doing this with no automation and no VAs, I was spending an hour to 2 hours a day manually, and I was able to put 15 to 20 introductory appointments on my calendar on a weekly basis. And that saved me during the pandemic because I implemented all of these concepts. Okay, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the wrap up. I went over the frequently asked questions. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to me at rob at AMH, that's Advisor Marketing Hub support.com. So amhsupport.com. And I'd be happy to answer any of your questions, or you can click on the link below for more information in any of the channels that we are live today. I'm 30 seconds over, so I got to wrap up. Everybody have a happy 4th of July or if you're watching replay, I hope you had a happy 4th of July, and I'll see you next week for the Digital Advisor Weekly.